I like quotes. I'm going to share a gem I found on brainyquote.com. It's by Soren Kierkegaard. It says that face the facts of what you are, for that changes what you are. It's a simple concept. It's also one of the basic tenets of recovery as prescribed by Alcoholics Anonymous. This self awareness is the first thing that a person has to know when starting recovery. It's the most important thing during their recovery, and it's the only thing that they have to get right throughout the entire recovery process. I know because I've interviewed hundreds of people who are in recovery, recovering alcoholics, and they have amassed decades of recovery, and they say this is what they use to stay recovered. Now, it is believed that a person can recover from a hopeless, seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. First, they must be self aware. They also have to take in a few other things. That's a twofold disease affecting the mind and the body. And it has a spiritual answer. First, first is self awareness. To explain that process, let's look at the three pertinent ideas presented in the Big Book of Alcoholics on page 60. First pertinent idea is that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. Sounds like the first step. After years of fighting alcoholism, beat down and full of trouble, the alcoholic finally has to understand that there's a mental twist that comes along with his drinking. It's an obsession that bars him from the ability of choice. That transfers to every other decision making process in the alcoholic's life. Therefore, life becomes unmanageable. To overcome, they must admit they were alcoholics and could not manage their own lives. It is part of step one as well. Step one and the pertinent idea sound quite a bit alike. Pertinent idea number two, that no human power could relieve us of alcoholism. This pertains to the physical aspect, that the alcoholic himself cannot exert the willpower necessary to not drink. That once the alcohol is in the body, then a compulsion kicks in and it just keeps on drinking. Remember that alcoholism is a disease that tricks the recipient that they don't have the disease. So, in order to handle that, what they have to do is come to believe that a power greater than themselves could restore them to sanity. Step two of the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Pertinent idea number three is that God could and would if he was sought. Now, with the first two steps of self-awareness firmly in place, a resolution has to be made that something much more powerful than anything around them can at least relieve them and bring life back to manageability or help them recover from a seemingly hopeless state of mind or body. And that is God. It's worked out on a spiritual plane. Therefore, they come to step three. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. It's a beginning. Steps 4 through 12, are the means by which they come to a fruitful life in recovery. Now, I know these things because I spent the last 5.5 years in recovery. I've had to do it every day. They work. It works. It's a process where a person has to know what they are, an alcoholic. For that is the way that they can change what they are, a recovered alcoholic. Thank you, Kierkegaard.